Hi, I'm John from Tone Tailors, and recently we were talking about what is my desert island pedal, and it's always been the same since the day I got my first whammy. It's always going to be the whammy pedal. I think it's one of the most versatile instruments, not just pedals, but instruments in what I would consider my rig. So real quickly, I have two whammies hooked up because not many people do that. I have a Klon-ish warm audio Centavo in here. I always put a compressor afterwards, so I have a dynacomp, which is my favorite, and I have a way huge aqua push just for a little bit of delay on the back end. And drive is not much. I don't really use drive pedals, but I'll turn down for my clean. And as far as whammy settings, I can't say I use all of them, but I use a lot of them. The most obvious that people will think about with a whammy pedal is to use it as a whammy bar. So for me, if you go to a second down, you can literally use it as a whammy bar. Another interesting feature, and we'll just put it on the other one, is that there's chorus on these pedals. Not everybody thinks of them as a chorus pedal, but it is there. You can get less chorus. And more chorus as you go into it, which is always a neat option. One thing a lot of people like to do is the dive bomb, which is pretty obvious. But a neat thing about the dive bomb, if you got a decent amount of drive and some compression on, you can play bass. Which is a cool feature. When it comes to like the left-hand side of the pedal, which is where all the harmonies are, I don't play in there a lot unless I have maybe fuzz on and a wah and a bunch of other things. But what's really interesting is if you have two whammy pedals, you can have two functions on at the same time. It's really the only true way to do it. So if we were to say we have a fifth on this side, and we'll do, just because we can, we'll do a sixth on the other. So here's a fifth. Now we'll add a sixth. And then you can blend the two in the opposite direction. So there's a lot of interesting features you can do when you have two of them. A really fun trick that I've always liked to do, and I haven't heard a lot of people do, is I'll go one octave up, which would be, instead of doing the David Gilmour thing where it's and having delay on there, I will keep that up, keep the pedal off, and be able to go. There's always like weird, fun things you can kind of find in these pedals. If you go to like, let's say a fifth up, there's normal. Here's a fifth up. We can come into chords, which is kind of interesting. And vice versa. If we go the other direction and we go, say, a fifth down, and then my all-time favorite feature, which I have to get on the ground to do it, and we typically then will turn, we'll just do one. I start at 2 octaves up with the pedal down. Now we'll get as much compression as we can possibly get. We'll hit a high note. I wouldn't call that useful, but it's really fun. And lastly, because you have two whammy pedals, now I have had the joy of plugging 5 together at one point just to see what we can do, but we can go 2 full octaves down, 2 full octaves up at the same time. I don't know many pedals that allow you to do this, but and then for all of you fish fans out there, the easiest thing to do is the single octave whale calls with lots of delay, where you do it with a volume. So bend a note, start with a bent note, and go the other way. There's your whale call sound. And lastly, but not least, if we go back to just the whammy bar setting, you can pretty much get the idea of a pedal steel by going. That's the whammy pedal in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.